Hey guys, and welcome back to the Social Geeks Digital podcast. It's Kyle, and it's been a while since I last did an episode, but I'm very happy to say that in this episode, I'm going to be sharing a guest lecture that I did for Auckland University of Technology, which is where I studied marketing many moons ago. I was asked to do a presentation on the marketing technology that digital agencies are using and businesses are using to help in explaining some of these platforms and how they're implemented and how we select them as well. It was such a pleasure being able to present some of my experience back to the next generation of digital marketers and being back at my old stomping ground, Auckland University of Tech. So that was a very cool honor for me, and it was great to be there. Thank you to Dr. Jessica, who was the lecturer who requested me to speak, and thank you to all the students for bearing with me while I did my presentation. If you are interested in implementing, as the cool kids are calling MarTech, marketing technology in your business, you can always reach out to me and the team for a free consultation so we can discuss your needs and how we might be able to help. Without further ado, let's jump into the episode.
Thank you, Kyle, for getting up early to talk to us. Kyle will introduce himself better, but as I mentioned, he's from Social Geeks Digital, and he's going to give you a bit of a link to some of the background stuff that we've maybe covered, and then go into a bit more detail with the tools that they use, how they choose the tools, and some of that more practical content that we want to complement what we talked about. Have a question for Kyle as you're going, and just let me know, and I'll drop him an ask, but otherwise maybe we have offered to have a bit of a Q&A or discussion at the end, so we can do that as well. So we won't wait any longer. Thank you, Kyle, and the floor is yours.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Jessica. And it's really nice to be back at AUT. I'm not going to tell you guys when I went to AUT because it makes me feel way too old, but it's awesome to be here and talking to the next generation of digital marketers. So as Jessica said, my name's Kyle, and I run an agency called Social Geeks Digital Agency. As you can imagine, we use a lot of tech in our business, and we implement this in our clients as well. So what I'm hoping today is to walk you through how people in the industry are using these tools and how we select them. So the big thing for me really is that tech is everywhere. It's only getting more and more present in our lives and in our businesses. I love tech. I'm like the biggest geek when it comes to shiny new tools. And I think that's something that I'm sure some of you can relate to. It's a really big challenge, I think, however, to not always go for the shiny new thing and just make sure that the tools you're using are the best ones that you can. So it's really half the battle, I think, is not just the implementation side of getting this underway, but it's also getting people to use the tools, because some people love tech, other people have tech phobia, where especially business owners or people who might be a little bit older than all of us here, we deal with clients of all different ages. And I find that sometimes I'm surprised. You get younger people who just seem to absolutely hate learning new platforms and getting their hands dirty with setting these things up. So you do have to look at the training and support of tools as well as a digital marketer, because oftentimes it's not just you using them, it's your clients as well, or other people in the business. And if they can't use it, then you're wasting money, essentially, implementing tools in the business that nobody uses. So that is, in my experience, one of the biggest things that's often overlooked. So implementing CRMs, because you're like, man, this can do everything. It's so awesome. How can you guys not love this? And then 1 person out of 10 is using them, and you're like, oh no, this is a disaster. So that's something I wanted to really iterate, because I think that's something that we often overlook, I think, as digital marketers. We just get excited with the platforms and all the cool stuff it can do. So I'm going to talk about a few different things today to go through, you guys, the platforms that we're using in the agency right now. I'm going to talk about how we choose those tools and give you some real world examples as well. I'm not going to go into huge depth because I'm conscious of time, but I'm hoping that it'll give you a really good insight into how we implement these things and how they kind of work. I've got a few bits and pieces, tips and things that I'll go through as well, but I'm trying to leave some time for Q&A so you guys can ask all the amazing questions that I'm sure you'll come up with while I'm going through the presentation. So let me start with how we choose tools. It really comes down to a few different things, but when we're doing project work for a client, we look at the I can't remember, this is a project management tactic or process that we follow, which is looking at what's the client's budget, what's their timeline, and what's the outcome or quality that they're looking for. We really want to start with business goals and understand if you've got a client who's really, let's say, technologically challenged, you want to make sure that the platforms you're integrating in their business are super easy to use and super user-friendly. If you don't, and you go for a platform that's maybe a bit more technical, the user interface maybe isn't as intuitive and it's a bit more difficult to use, you're going to find that person doesn't stick to the platform. And we see this quite often, to be honest, where we'll implement something and then 6 months later, you get the business owner being like, man, this tool is hard to use. Like, we're really struggling here. And you're like, oh man, we've gone through so much training. It sucks to hear that you guys are finding it difficult. So it's really important that you start with the business goals. What are they trying to achieve? Is it that they're trying to set up like a sales process in their business? They're trying to save time with like social media scheduling? Are they needing to do more email automation? So you're trying to really discover what the client needs and how you can help them with that software. And it's the same in your business as well. Like, you don't want to implement tools that you're not going to use. So it's really looking at what are the goals? Are they trying to grow their brand awareness? Are they trying to increase conversion rates? Are they trying to increase customer retention? And then making sure that the platform is able to help with those goals. I find that it's very easy nowadays, especially with all these amazing tools coming out with AI, and it is overwhelming. It's really easy to get distracted by hype, especially when you got influencers out there who are pumping different products and making it seem like it's like the best thing to ever be released. So you really want to make sure that you're looking into the software yourself and you're testing it out before you start trying to use it or swap it for a tool that you've already got. Better the devil than the devil you don't is probably a good mantra for that. And then I always recommend looking at, does the software integrate with other platforms? There's so many tools out there these days, and the best ones I find are the ones that integrate nicely with other platforms. We deal with a lot of real estate clients here in Australia, and a lot of them use CRMs that are focused on real estate, and they don't play nicely with anything else. They don't even plug into Facebook ads or Google ads. And you're like, that's 90% of real estate's leads are coming in from these sources. Why the hell would they not set this up so it integrates nicely? I don't want to complain to you guys. It's just something that you need to look into. As well, you want to look for user experience. How does this work? And is it intuitive? Easy to navigate? And are people going to be banging their heads against their keyboards in frustration because they can't bloody find the things that they're looking for? You want to check that out. And another thing that I think is quite surprising with tools, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just me that gets surprised by this, but there's a lot of tools that charge just like really sneakily, if that makes sense. Like, they're charging per person, per seat, per month. And then they have add-ons or features that are restricted that they don't give you until you upgrade or pay this extra add-on. And it really starts stacking up for a business. So you do want to look at what's the cost to scale if you do want to grow in the future, and make that consideration between platforms as well. We're going to talk about 3 systems. I picked 2 CRMs that I love. And the reason I picked them is they have very different costs to scale. And we're going to go through that in the next few slides. The first tool that I absolutely love, I'll talk a bit more about how we evaluate and then talk about the tools. Sorry to tease that in. So we're really looking at kind of 4 key areas when we are trying to pick platforms or tech that we can use, firstly in our business, but then also in a client's business as well. The big consideration is cost. It's not all about the money, but it definitely is something that your clients in the real world will want to know. And business owners always want to make sure that they're paying the most economical price for things. So you want to make sure that you understand the pricing of any platform. And like I said, a lot of them charge for subsets of features in the platform. They charge a per seat monthly fee, and then they'll charge on top of that, maybe, I don't know why they do this, but they'll charge for however many marketing contacts you have in the database. From memory, HubSpot charges somewhere around like the $70 a month for every 1,000 contacts you have in your database. I personally hate that model. I think it's like really stupid, because what if you're never sending an email to that database? You're paying $70 just to have 1,000 people sitting in the system. It's a bit of a silly pricing model, but again, I'm complaining and I should move on. So the next thing really that we look at is good support. If we're implementing it for a client, we want to know that they've got great training materials, that they have great customer support and service. because there's going to be a time where, whether it's a user issue or it's a bug or something's just not working, they will need support. And look, if you want to help out every client with every support issue in the future, you're going to drive yourself insane, because they start stacking up and oh my God, how many times have I told you this? So you really want to make sure that tech has a good support service that you can just basically say, hey, talk to these guys, they're great. And you're there more for the technical side of things and helping with strategy and helping with campaign implementation. You don't want to be dealing with, how do I change a font in an email, or silly questions that really are maybe a bit more basic that the platform could help with. Now, I already talked about integrations, but integrations are key in our world. You want to make sure that your platforms are going to integrate nicely with the channels that you're going to use. So if you're using other platforms, a lot of them can be integrated natively now in the platform, which means just like an app on your phone, you're able to install an app that connects it to Facebook or whatever. But if they don't have that, you want to make sure that they have APIs and that you're comfortable with how you'd be able to integrate that as well. So really making sure that you understand how this plays with other platforms and how you can integrate that. That's probably, honestly, one of the most important things that people overlook when they're looking at tech, is that they don't think about how is this going to integrate in other tools that I use, and how does that flow from top of funnel campaigns through to my sales pipeline, through to then customer service, onboarding support, and all of that. So integrations are really important. And then the last thing is scalability. So scalability is all looking at, how do we scale this out? Can this take on more of our marketing and sales process? Can this do customer service? Can this help us with social media posting? What other potential features does this have that we might be able to use as well? Automation's a really big focus of digital marketing these days. So having, for example, email series that you would use and set up in your CRM to help with nurturing people who have shown an interest in your service or product. Normally, these nurture series are there to help convert people into a paying customer. So you want to have really nice automation there, and you can go really heavy on the details. So you can be like, if they don't open the email, follow them up with this. If they click on this, then send them that. You can branch that out quite extensively. So you want to look at, does it have the potential to scale and allow me to set up these really cool, I think they're cool, really cool email workflows that will help with converting new interested prospects in the business. And then looking at customer onboarding series or win-back campaigns, like all of these things that can help you with actually automating a lot of the customer service through email marketing. So scalability is really looking at, does it have the features that we're going to need in the future? And you generally start simple, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. You probably want to keep it small to start, but then over time, you want to scale and the complexity grows, and you want a system that can support that. So those are the four kind of key bits that we use to evaluate new platforms before we jump in. So now I get to talk about my favorite toy. All right, cool. High-level CRM. This is the platform that we've been using in our agency for the last maybe 2 years, and I absolutely love it. The reason I love it so much is that it allows us to white label the platform and then resell it to our clients. And I basically make our clients use this. If you're going to work with our agency, you have to have a CRM. If you already have one, totally cool. That's no problem at all. If you don't, we're setting you up on this. And the reason we do that is we can include it in our service fee. So we basically say, look, we're giving you this software as part of the service that we're doing. It allows us to then have full control over the marketing stack. So email marketing, social media management. We can set up like landing pages and sales funnels, and we can do everything within that platform. So the CRM itself is like an all-in-one tool that you're able to use for your marketing. And you can use it for sales, and you can use it for customer service as well. We have migrated over some clients who are spending, like $2,500 a month on software, and we're charging much less than that, maybe let's say a tenth of what they're paying. And we're able to do all of the things that they were doing and more with this platform. They were doing online courses. They were doing a whole bunch of different things. I think they had like 25 different email marketing series automations, just an insane amount of automation that they had set up. And they're an online accreditation for like wedding planners, and they're certified here in Australia and in the US. So it was a big job. It took us maybe a month to migrate everything over, and suddenly they're spending a tenth of what they were spending on their software costs. So It was a pretty big project, but that's what high level can do, is it can really get rid of like the 60 different tools that you're using and go through that. So it definitely saves money, and having it all in one place saves a huge amount of time as well. So we use this now for lead generation clients. We use it for setting up community groups and online courses. We use it for even web design. You can build websites in high-level CRM. And a lot of CRMs now are offering website hosting and development, or it's pretty basic websites, to be honest. But if you have an informational kind of brochure styled website for, let's say, a mechanic or something that doesn't really, maybe a mechanic's a bad example, something that doesn't have a lot of moving parts, it's a really good system to get that going. I'm going to share my screen for the high level website, because I figured that might be a better way to explain it. They do have free trials as well, if any of you guys are keen to give it a crack and see if it could work for yourselves. I don't know if you have any ambitious students who already have their own freelance or agencies that they've set up. This is a great platform to get your business going. So the big thing from my end that I really like about it, I think this is a good kind of illustration, is that it takes care of all of the different elements in your funnel. When we talk about marketing funnels, look, I'm talking to students who are studying marketing, so you guys know all about it, but you have the top, middle, and bottom of your funnel where you're looking at, how do I attract new customers who are interested potentially in the service, but they don't know who we are, and maybe they don't even know that there's services that can help with the problems they're facing. And you want to nurture them through various channels and get them into your marketing funnel, with the ultimate goal of getting them into your sales pipeline, so that you can then have a sales call, or you can try to nurture them to become a paying customer. CRMs can do pretty much everything in the marketing funnel, and even help with your sales pipeline of nurturing new prospects who have given you their contact details in exchange for whatever it is you're offering at the time, to then try to work on talking about their problems, talking about their goals, and seeing how you might be able to help. And that's what sales is, right? It's not trying to push stuff on people that they don't need. It's about, what are the problems that you're facing, what solutions are available, and how can we help you in implementing those and getting some peace and prosperity into your business. So that's really what the CRM can do. And there's so many tools out there. I'm not going to go through all of the different features, because you guys can do that on your own. But if we scroll down to the kind of comparison on different platforms, this is the thing that I think is really cool. I don't know if you guys can see this too well, but essentially high level can step in and do a lot of the things that other tech platforms can offer, but built into one essential system. So you've got CRM and pipeline management. HubSpot, which is another tool we'll talk about, replaces that. You've got sales funnels. There's a tool called ClickFunnels and Lead Pages. Both of those charge a fortune. It's generally like $300 a month, or I think they have a $99 US option as well. But you can see how quickly these costs can stack up when you're looking at all the different marketing technology that you need to run a business these days. You're looking at a website, you're looking at surveys and forms, email marketing, text marketing. When you want to have like calendar bookings, you want to have workflow automation, all of these things get really expensive. And I think that a good comparison is looking at, okay, I could get all these things and spend $1,500 a month, or I could get high level to do all of it. And it might not do it as well as all of these different tools, because they're built to do that one thing specifically, but you're going to get something that does the job just like probably 90% as well for a fraction of the price. So I really do think that's a good, like, this is a great sales tool to give to clients, to be like, look, you could expand your business and use all these different tools, but you're going to be paying a fortune. And I explained that I had a client who was paying a fortune using a lot of different tools, and they were using the best of the best and paying for their email marketing tool. I think they were paying alone on that like $800 a month. And I was like, that's insane. That's so expensive for an email marketing platform. So just being able to provide that value and show that it's going to save them a lot of money is such an easy way to sell. And just say, look, you can cut your costs by a tenth, or you can cut it by half. Even half is a great win for a lot of businesses. So I do think that Go High Level is definitely my favorite tool at the moment, and we use it in our agency and use it for all of our clients as well. So what does that compare to? You've seen that has like a $99 per month subscription. That's for like end users, but it does have an agency version for $297 a month, where you can then resell it, and you can sell it at whatever price you like. So That's why I think it's expensive. We're talking $300 US, which New Zealand dollars, you're probably talking like $500 or $450, something crazy. But if you're reselling it at $99 a month and you've got 10 clients, you're in the profit, right? You're actually getting your clients to pay for your platform. So it is quite a good scalable system for digital marketers and agencies. Now, my close favorite, my second up, is HubSpot. I've been using HubSpot for over 10 years, I think. And it is probably one of the best CRM platforms, I think, in the world. They offer a starter plan, which is free for new businesses. And that is generally the tool that I'll recommend to clients if they don't want to use ours. But most people are happy using ours, to be fair. So HubSpot is a really fantastic tool. And I'd say that probably a third of our clients have already got HubSpot set up in their business prior to working with us. So we do use this. We're a certified partner of HubSpot, and we really think that it's the user experience and interface is second to none. It's fantastic. So the reason HubSpot, I think, is another good mention is all the things I just highlighted that you can do with high level CRM, you can do in HubSpot. And the only downside of HubSpot is that they charge you for all the different features that you would want. So automation, you've got to upgrade. Email marketing, you get over 1,000 people, you've got to upgrade. So they've really priced this in a way where they get you in on the free version. And then as you grow, they're like, sweet, we got you. You're not going to migrate away. And we're going to charge you for every little thing that you need. So it's got a great free version, and it does have an upgrade path, but it just, you need to make sure that the business is happy with that and that they're aware that there's going to be potentially, it might go up to $1,200 a month per person when you're wanting to get all bells and whistles for this platform. So HubSpot can build websites, it can build out email campaigns, it can integrate with most platforms as well. And it's a really good one, a good tool for people who are a startup or very budget conscious because they have that free version. Excuse me. They have that free version available. So I'm going to quickly show you their website as well, because I like just going through and having a little peek. So HubSpot, the reason that I recommend them to startups or small business clients who are very budget conscious is because they have a really in-depth resource and support platform. They've got the HubSpot Academy, which essentially is video training and courses that people can do. They've got great customer service and onboarding, and they are, I'd say, second to none at their kind of inbound marketing. These guys are the go-to business to look at for inbound marketing tactics and inbound marketing resources. And when I say inbound, there's actually an article here. If you're interested, you can go and have a look at inbound marketing. It's basically using SEO and content to bring people to you who would be your ideal target market. So rather than advertising and kind of outbound marketing, you're looking at how to draw people in. And HubSpot are fantastic at that. The only thing is their pricing, and they definitely get expensive fast. That's one thing I try to make abundantly clear to clients who are on that. Look, it will get expensive as your business grows, and you can look at other platforms then. It's not impossible to migrate, but it is a pain in the ass, that's for sure. So going back to HubSpot, it's a great system. Don't get me wrong. I've used this for a very long time, but I do think that if you're looking at scaling, it can get pricey. And that's where kind of comparing the two come in. I think Go High Level or High Level, their website's gohighlevel.com. So their brand is very confusing to a lot of people. I think it's best for agencies. So people who are trying to grow their business and implement this tool into other clients' businesses, because we will be their support person, we'll be helping them more hands-on. And it means that we can implement all the tools and the workflows for them to help get that going. I think HubSpot is better for in-house teams. So small businesses, small to medium businesses, they're going to get a lot of value out of HubSpot because firstly, it's free. That's something you can't really say is not a great thing. And they do have a lot of really good training and a beautiful user experience. So those two things, you got to look at who's it going to be best for. Something I find quite irritating about High Level is that when you're reselling the software, they pull out all of the support from that. So you become the support person if you're selling that to a client, which is not the end of the world, but it can be really frustrating when you're getting basic questions about how to do basic things. There are ways around this, but it's something that I think that's why they allow you to resell it, right? You can resell this, but you are the person now that they go to, and we're not providing any customer service for those clients. So that's just something to look out for if you are considering using it. The costs over time are definitely way lower. I think as you scale, we're still paying the same kind of agency price per month, and our clients are paying the same monthly rate. It doesnn't matter on how many users they're bringing on the platform or data in the system. It's very cost effective if you are scaling and you're a larger business. HubSpot's free to start, but like I said, the price goes up as soon as you start going, hey, yeah, I would like some automations, thanks. They're like, cool, upgrade to our $100 a month plan. And you're like, damn it. So it can be really, anytime you want that extra little detail, it can go up. And comparing the UI, the biggest complaint I get from clients who are trying to do it themselves with Go High Level is that the UI is still needing a lot of improvements. I think what they sacrificed for a really nice user interface, they are making up for in like constantly pumping out new features and trying to make it so that anything that's the latest craze in the marketing world, they implement it within weeks, which is really cool. And they're very responsive to their community of what features they should work on more. And you can provide that feedback through, I can't remember what the tool is called. It's a very good tool to be able to upvote different features that you want to see built in. So they are fantastic for automation, fantastic for integrations. It's built for agencies. So it's really built for people like us who are providing a service to a client and want to use a platform that we intuitively know to automate and implement into the business. HubSpot is definitely better for people who are just wanting to start out using a CRM and want to make sure that they got good support and good systems. Now, I would say that another tool that we use on top of our CRMs is analytics. You need to know how things are tracking and all the data as well. So one of the tools that we use in our agency, we use this for all of our reporting. We use this to create dashboards that we invite clients into, is a tool called Agency Analytics. What it can do is it integrates with almost every possible tool on the market for advertising, for SEO, for email marketing, even call analytics. You can put that into dashboards and create reports that you can send out to your clients. So what we try to use this in is using a CRM plus analytics plus whatever channels we're managing for a client. It might be Google ads, might be Facebook ads, SEO, social media management, whatever. We then use this to report on our performance and make sure that the clients are aware with how we're going. So agency analytics as well. I won't go into huge detail because I'm conscious of time. You are able to help in automating your client reporting. So this is a fantastic platform for agencies and digital marketers because you're able to white label it, you're able to build out your dashboards, and you're able to automate weekly, monthly, whatever frequency reporting and have that sent out to a client to make sure that they're aware of how things are going. And I've used so many different tools, guys. This one is by far my favorite and definitely one that just saves you so much time with manual reporting, because if you're pulling out reports and you're copying and pasting into an email and sending it out to each of your clients, you could spend days doing that each month. And it's just not the most beneficial use of your time. Let's put it that way. It's good to know how things are tracking, but definitely to update clients, I think using automation is a really fantastic one. So this plugs in with most of the major tech platforms. It plugs in with heaps and heaps of different tools that you might use in your business, and it can be really valuable. Get all of our clients onto this. Whenever we do update calls or monthly sessions, we'll go through the dashboard together. I'll share that. I'll talk about, here's the results that we got for the last 30 days. Here's what we're focusing on for the next 90 days. So this platform is really invaluable for that. So we're getting close to the end. How are we going for time, Jessica? And I realize that I think you guys are wrapping up at 9 o'clock. Is that right?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is a 3-hour total session.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. So I could have really stretched this out.
They don't want me to keep them here for that long, but don't.
That's too long.
Yeah.
Too long. All right. No, that's cool. I just wanted to check just in case.
We've already done an hour. We've already done an hour, so don't hop to 3.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to leave time for Q&A. So
Absolutely.
some real examples. I realized that I mentioned a brand before that I probably want to talk about more. So we work with, at the moment, probably about 30 different businesses in our agency, and they're all different types of industries. We've implemented this system for all of our clients because if they don't have a CRM, it's really good to use one. And real estate, we work with a few real estate agencies to help them with email marketing, automation, social media content, and all the other stuff that they're busy doing. So we've implemented high-level CRM, which has allowed us to do really cool stuff with AI text campaigns. We're able to text out databases of contacts and start helping start conversations and try to see if anybody's looking for an updated value on the home. And if they are, then we're trying to book them in with a real estate agent through that text campaign. We do a lot of social media scheduling. So we chop up videos of our clients talking about changes in regulations or whatever it is, talking about market prices and all these boring things that real estate agents talk about. And then we post that across the various different platforms through the CRM as well. So we're able to connect TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and I believe X as well, although I'm not sure if that's still going because they made some changes recently. But you can post content out really easily through there and make sure that you're scheduling that and getting that out there. And then what we do is we have the agency analytics for reporting. The same goes, we have a dog food brand that we've been doing, like this weird dog influencer campaign, and we've been posting that out on social media through the CRM. I think probably a better example, though, out of these two is that wedding planning certification business I was talking about before. They do all of their courses online. So they have a digital library, a community as well. And we've actually set that all up through high level CRM, because you're able to build out like a community section that your customers can log into. It has a very similar layout to like a Facebook group. So you have a feed that you're able to chat, but they also have a learning section in there where you can find your courses and you can get certified in those courses through the platform. So that was a really big project for us, and this brand is international. So being able to migrate them over to high-level CRM, and I didn't have to sell that. They were like, "Have you heard of high-level CRM? We're thinking about migrating." I was like, "Oh, what a coincidence!" Yes, we definitely know it. So being able to migrate them over was a huge money saver. And they have integrated like WhatsApp messaging, email marketing. They've got 25 different email marketing series, which is a lot for one business. So they've got so much automation into that platform, and probably the best, I'd say, case study for us to demonstrate. Now, look, there are, as I conclude now, some things that I wish I knew sooner, because I really struggle from shiny tool syndrome. Like I always see these new things come out and I'm like, oh my God, that looks like it's going to solve all my problems. And I go and sign up straight away. So free tools are not always cheap. And I think that's something that I've really found over time, is that sometimes they can be a huge suck of your time, or they get expensive because they've got like features that you want that are behind their pro version, or they get you in, and then once you're trapped, that's when they start charging you when you want more. So it's really important to know that free tools are not always the best option, but there's so many free tools now that are great. It's good to try things out, but not to bet the farm or bet the house on that new free tool. As well, I would say that just because everyone's talking about something or there's a trend like about some certain platform, you do need to make sure that it's right for you and that you understand what you're trying to get out of the platform. And then the other thing is making your stack simple. I think that it's so easy, and I see this all the time with clients, where they'll have 15 subscriptions going for 15 different platforms, and they're probably using 3 of them. And then they're still paying for all this other stuff because they've been told they needed to have it. So a lot of it is about simplicity and making sure that you're not just signing up to shit because you think you might need it. You do want to analyze your subscriptions and your platforms, I would say on like a quarterly basis, if not annually, right? Looking through that and understanding, is this relevant to what I'm doing? Is this helping me? And we do this quite often. I've signed up to so many AI video editing tools recently, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cancel all of these. And there's one platform that we're using a lot, which I'm like, this is the one that's going to do, might not do all the things as well as these other tools, but I don't need all these tools. I just need this one platform that can do 90% of the work, or 80% of the work even. So those are things that I wish I'd known sooner. And I think that it's all good to try different things. Just make sure that it's something that you're going to use. And that kind of leaves me to my final advice, the try before you buy. I think that the best thing you can do is play around with tools, try the free trials, watch tutorials, and really spend time. I think it was Gary Vee who said this, and apologies if he's outdated now, but Gary Vee said that you want to try something for 10 hours before you make judgments or use it in your strategy. If you're going to jump into TikTok as your business and try to really go into that, you want to watch 10 hours of TikTok just to understand it. I do think that's the same with tools. You want to get like at least a couple of days experience on the platform, playing around with it, trying it out before you start looking, is this right for me? So free trials are really good for that. And then as well, I think you want to choose the tools based on the fit, not on the fame. There are some tools that are like world famous and they're highly rated. HubSpot's one of them, but maybe it's not the right fit for your business. Maybe high level is better because it can scale without the huge expenses that might be aligned with that. So those are like the final pieces that I'd recommend. And then as well, something that I wish I did a lot more, to be honest, once I graduated, was finding mentors or agency folk that you can learn from. If you do find somebody who, you can build up a relationship with and they're happy to take you under their wing and guide you, that can be so beneficial. The biggest thing I didn't do at university, which I would impart on all you spring chickens, is that you want to use this time building up your network and building up the people, because the people that because those will be the people in the industry later on that will be able to refer clients, refer opportunities, and help each other out. And not just because it doesn't have to be transactional. It's more like just being able to talk through different ideas, talk through different challenges, and talk through, hey, what platforms are you like geeking out on? You want to find ways to really like nurture that network. And I think that's the most important part of what you're studying, I think, is like making sure that you're taking note of the people around you and really trying to help each other out. So that is it from me, guys. I think that hopefully you've learned something today on the tech stack that we use. That's just what we do. So don't take that as gospel. There's plenty of other things out there, but that is the platforms that I would highly recommend. I'll open up to questions, I guess, and see if you guys had any questions following that lovely presentation.
Wow, that was super fantastic. And we all just first saying,
cool.
I keep saying nice things then, because that was really excellent. I think it really gave that applies that this is what I would suggest, the really on the ground perspective. So thank you for that. I'm sorry you can't see us. It makes it awkward for you. You're just up to yourself on the screen. Some of our rooms have cameras, and I guess this one does not. But we are a full class of 60 postgrad students here listening intently.
Oh, wow.
So, do we have any questions for Kyle? Use his knowledge, use his brain, use his living and breathing and working in this industry to answer anything you're interested in, answer more specific questions. We also gave some really great advice about networking and the connections you're making now are going to be the people that you're working with in the future. Do you have anything you want to chat with Kyle about?
Yeah. Thanks, Kyle, for the presentation. I was just wondering what got you into starting your own agency. If that was what you started in.
Did you hear the question, Kyle?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, great question. Yeah, so my story is a bit of a weird one, I think, anyways. I, after graduating uni at AUT, moved over to Sydney, and I worked in the industry there for a few years. And to be honest, like, I think that there's certain people who thrive in a corporate environment. I am not one of them. I really struggled to not go outside of the box that I was being told I had to stay within. So a lot of the agencies, if you're an account manager or you're doing a specific role, you can't come up with creatives. You're not allowed to talk to the client about pitching new ideas. So there's you have to sit in your box, and this is what you do. You help in managing projects, you help with making sure things are being delivered on time, but creatives is done by the creative team or the creative director. So for me, I decided in my 20s that I was like, I'm going to give this a crack. And I've always loved the idea of working for myself. I've run businesses myself since I was a teenager. So I think there was like something in me that was like, I want to try this before it's too late, so to speak. So I took a year off, sold all my stuff in Sydney, moved to Southeast Asia, and set up 3 online businesses. And this was one of them. And I just was like, if it doesn't work, then at a minimum, I've had a 12-month awesome holiday in a beautiful location. If it does work, then great. I can move back to Australia in the future with a business where I've been able to get it operational. For me, I think it was just more like I wanted to give it a crack. And I started out building websites for clients and doing that with WordPress and building those. And then we'd launch the site and the client would be like, okay, cool. Now what? Like, how do I get new customers? And I'd be like, you need to advertise and you need to create content. They'd be like, oh, cool. Can you do that? I'm like, yeah, sure. I can do that. I started doing my Google certification, and just one thing leads to another. And after a while, you realize, oh, wow, I've learned so much just by doing. I think that's the biggest thing in our world is sometimes you just got to jump in and figure it out on the way. And I think you've got to take risks and you've got to try things and not be afraid of failure. So yeah, I feel like I'm a motivational coach now. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. No, it's great. And I think also being an AUT alumni, I think maybe some of them might be able to see themselves in your shoes. I don't know how many years down the road you are. And if you do want to disclose that trait, but,
No, that's top secret.
You sound like me as well, Kyle. Where are you from? You don't sound like a Kiwi or not.
Welcome. Yeah, no, sorry, guys. I was born and raised in Canada, and then my family migrated to New Zealand, and I went to high school and university in New Zealand. So I'm a bit of a mutt breed now because no matter where I go, people are like, "Hey, where are you from? You've got an accent." And I'm like, "Oh." So it's a bit confusing, but yeah.
Where are you
So
from,
try.
Canada?
Oh, no way. I grew up in Kitchener, Waterloo. So
I know
yeah,
the
I
area.
don't know. Sorry, it's hard to do.
From Calgary.
No, oh yeah, you're from, yeah, okay. Calgary's a bit, from what I gather, it's a bit colder than where I'm from, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's like, anyway, sidebar, Canada, chat aside. Any other questions for, we've got one more, and I might need to relay this one to you that further back.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't hear anything. I think it might be like,
I have a little lapel mic, I might see if.
oh, cool.
Thank you for your presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello, how you doing?
So I know that you have worked with a lot of companies. So my questions is, in your opinion, which website platform supports that you think is best for different companies? WordPress, so Spotify, always. Which one that you
Yeah.
think?
That's a great question. It's really difficult to say which one is the best one, right? It's which phone is best for you. Is it Apple? Is it Samsung? Is it a Google Pixel? They all work, right? And they all have different ways of working. So I would say that it really depends again on the project and what the goals are. I really like WordPress, although they're going through a bit of a crazy leadership crisis right now with the guy who founded it. But it's an open source platform that powers probably like over a third of the websites on the internet. So WordPress is probably, you're going to come across WordPress at some stage in your career, I have no doubt. So learning WordPress would be a really beneficial one for like real industry experience. And Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, like there's a lot of companies that are coming out with easy done for you or easy builder website kind of solutions. I know GoDaddy have one as well. And it feels like every time I check, there's more and more popping up. So they're all good, but I think that they're limited in terms of what they can do beyond being a portfolio website or like a basic kind of brochure website. They're adding on more and more features. So Wix, I know, have come a long way in terms of like performance, in terms of e-commerce. They've launched e-commerce functionality, customer logins, appointment bookings. Like they're adding in a lot of these cool features. But I think it does depend on what your client is looking for you to build. So if it's e-commerce, Shopify, hands down, is the best that you could use because it is built for e-commerce and they have just made it good for e-commerce businesses that there's just no point, I think, in trying other platforms that are trying to do it, but it's not their core focus. Even WordPress, there's a plugin that you can add to WordPress called WooCommerce, and it makes an e-commerce store. And I've built hundreds of e-commerce stores on WordPress using WooCommerce, but Shopify's checkout is just super streamlined, super easy. They've got Shop Pay. They've got like all these reasons that I think they convert 4 times as much as other competitors in terms of that checkout experience. So it really depends on what your customer wants or what your client's looking for and what their objectives are. If they are going for e-commerce, I'd say Shopify hands down. And they do have a really good partner program for people like yourself who are maybe looking to help set up websites or be an agency to help in managing the website. You can be a partner where you can access multiple different accounts from your one portal and you're able to set up like development sites. And there's a lot of really cool features, as well as like an affiliate program where you get paid essentially a retainer or a percentage of the monthly fees that your client's paying Shopify to thank you for setting them up on the platform. Yeah, I don't know, again, if that answers your question. I'd say Shopify, definitely hands down the best for e-commerce. WordPress is inevitably one that you're probably going to have to use because it's just everyone uses WordPress. So I'd say 9 out of 10 of our clients use WordPress, maybe a bit less, but a majority use WordPress, and then the rest are on Shopify. We do have a small number on Squarespace, but again, Squarespace sounds good in theory because it's really easy to use and intuitive and all that. But even then, like it has its restrictions, and a lot of clients end up going, you know what, I'm really finding the page builder frustrating, or I'm finding this a little bit limiting. Can we rebuild this? And they inevitably will look at other platforms in the future that might have more ability to be customized and a little bit better functionality. So yeah, that's my answer.
We have another question in the back. I'm just going to give him the mic. Hold on 1 second.
These are good questions, guys.
Good morning. Thank you for your presentation. It's weird. I was wondering, what trends have you been seeing in the digital marketing space? Are they moving away from email marketing and moving to content creation?
Great question. Great question. So trends that I'm seeing in the marketing space, I would say that email marketing has been a steady performer, and it has really come back in its own way. We do a lot of email marketing that's very personalized, and I think that's the trend we're seeing is rather than it being like this fancy designed newsletter, it's more like just a text email that's written as if you're speaking to that person and you're having a person behind that. So if they reply, it starts a conversation. If you're in a service-based industry like digital marketing or real estate or a health coach or whatever it is, you want to be nurturing your database. So having that really personalized email marketing, we're finding is working best. And the spam filters as well that Google and Microsoft and most of the big email providers use to determine whether it's spam or promotional or whatever, they've gotten a lot stricter. Email annoys the hell out of me because you have these 4 subcategories that your emails, rather than going to the inbox, could go to a promotional folder. And that's like the kiss of death. If your email goes from the inbox to promotional, your open rates go like they half. And suddenly you're like, what happened? And you find out that Google's gone, oh yeah, this is a promotional email. You guys are sending out newsletters. So we'll put you in that promotional folder. And that sucks. Like it's very hard to get out of that once you're in there. So that's why the trend that we're seeing is more personalized emails that are kind of like, hey, Jessica, it's Kyle here from Social Geeks. How are you going? You're asking questions and that type of stuff. That would be a big trend. As well, I think SEO is going through a really big change right now where because of AI, Google's really trying to get on top of how much content is flooding the internet in terms of blog articles. So we're seeing less value being put on blogging and more value being put on video blogging and YouTube because not many clients do video content at all, really. It's not really like they're doing it badly. It's just that they're not doing it. So YouTube would be one of the biggest underrated channels because it's like the second biggest search engine in the world after Google, and Google owns YouTube. So there's like a lot of crossover. So I definitely think that doing videos is huge right now because you're able to sell yourself as an expert. You're able to qualify and explore if there's people who are interested in working with you. Video is a great way to qualify them. And it's just great because you can take that transcript from a video and create a blog out of it. So you are winning on all fronts. So those are probably the biggest trends that I'm seeing right now in the space.
Just piggybacking off of that, we're all wondering about the future and AI. What's your take on that? How is that changing what you do, the way you do it? What do the students need to know going into if they plan to go into this sort of space?
Yeah. I love AI. I think there's a lot of fear around AI that it's going to replace our jobs, but I think that it's just going to make you so much more productive. And it's like having a super smart assistant that can help you with the stuff that you find really boring. I don't like writing proposals or project plans. Like I find that incredibly tedious. So that's a big thing that we do with AI is, all right, here's the brief in a nutshell. Can you please write me a project brief or a design brief? And then I send that off to the client for their feedback. It saves so much time in just the tedious stuff that you don't want to do. We use another tool, which I didn't mention today, called Descript, and it's a video editing platform that integrates AI really well. That's a game changer to save you a lot of time in editing video. You basically have an AI assistant in there and you say, remove all the filler words, transcribe my video, cut out all the off takes, add B-roll, cut to multicam if there's multiple people, like cut to the person talking. So I do think that, they say that AI it's not going to take our jobs, but it's going to replace people who aren't using AI. People using AI will be the ones who can take on more work and be more productive. So I think it's very exciting personally. We're trying out the new Google 2.5, which just launched like last week, I think. And they got like a deep research element that you can go, here's the client, here's their website, do a full digital marketing audit, look at their competitors, look at their social media profiles, and give me like a breakdown of what marketing they're doing, how they're doing it. And it just pumps out like a 22-page report. And then you have to read it. But that's a game changer. It's absolutely insane because we would normally spend quite a bit of time doing just research on clients that come through and looking at their competitors. And if AI could do that in 10 minutes and pump out like something that might have taken you, I don't know, half a day or a day to go through the internet yourself, just think about how much time that gives you back in order to do other productive things. So I think it's a good thing. It's a force for good, I hope. I, for one, welcome our AI overlords. Let's put it that way.
Right. Any final questions that Kyle want to generously spend time with us? Nothing else? Okay, I think you're off the hook, Kyle.
Awesome.
That was really helpful. Would you mind sending me your slide deck so I can make it available to the students?
Of course.
Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. No problem at all.
I thought
That's-
you can't throughout, so I think they would appreciate being able to go back and revisit all of what you've shared. So I'm going to join you one more time. Thank you, Kyle.
Awesome. Thank you guys for your time, and yeah, all the best with your studies. Hopefully you're learning a lot from Jessica, and it's great to be able to come back and contribute. Yeah, it's really cool.
Appreciate it. I think that's one of the keys with these sorts of courses that are so cutting edge that it's hard for us at the academic level to be able to keep up with where the industry is. So we need to make sure we cover the basics, cover the concepts, and then bringing in voices like yours to bring us to the edge and be able to throw some of this new stuff that I couldn't deliver what you delivered today.
It's hard for us to keep up. Yeah, it's hard for us to keep up, to be honest, Jessica. So yeah, I totally get that feeling.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks a lot.
No worries. Yeah, no worries. Oh, just before I go, I just wanted to say, if anybody does want to reach out just to have a chat or want to talk more about industry stuff or tools, feel free to reach out to me you can reach out on LinkedIn or go to our website and start a chat there. More than happy to have a chat and go through things.
Your details are on the slides, right? Your company details.
I think so. I'll add them before I send them through.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Kyle.
All right. Thanks,
Bye
guys.
for
Take
now.
care. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.